Hey guys, welcome to another video. So we can see what's API in Windows. Okay, so probably we can see API is called as application programming interface. So take DLL file. So we already see everything in the previous videos, so no issues on that. So this DLL files contain multiple functions like virtual alloc and create remote. A lot of functions will be there, right? So this functions we will call this as an API. So we are using so here we have our Chrome application. So let's think of it, this is a Chrome application, and this Chrome application will take the virtual alloc from the kernel32.dll and it will use that and load it in a RAM, right? Load it in a physical memory, right? So this is called as a API functions. Okay, this is the use of an API in the cyber security. But we have a lot of several APIs like Windows based APIs and native APIs. Okay, so we have few APIs behind that. So let's take an example of an Windows API. So if you need to develop a application, simple application like some what we call uh, yeah, simple PDF viewer or something, a simple application based desktop based application, or when we click on the desktop based application it will communicate to the like teams.txt, it communicate to the video call, or it needs to redirect to the web based GUI like Zoom. So you can able to use the Windows APIs. Okay, basically the native APIs will have a functionality to reach to the kernel. Okay, this is the kernel based APIs. Okay, if you need to touch anything in the kernel like allocating space or memory access or any network related events, so we are using the native APIs to communicate with the kernel. Okay, but Windows based it's not a big difference. So Windows based APIs will be used for application like GUI development, graphical user interface development, and few things. It will not have much functionalities comparing to the native APIs. Okay, so in a Windows based APIs like, so Windows APIs is like virtual alloc of. Okay, so this is named as a virtual alloc of to allocate a memory, but this virtual alloc will be converted into the native APIs. So after converting, the API will be NT virtual alloc of. Okay, so the operating system do all this conversion, transferring the Windows API to the native APIs. So operating system will be involving, and this OS will do everything. If you don't need to do any programming or anything. Okay, so this is the two APIs we are using. Okay, so one is Windows based API that will be used for a GUI development, any application GUI development. But if you want to if you want to enter into the kernel like allocating space, network sharing network resources, and writing the driver files, accessing the graphics programs, developing the games, so you need a native based APIs. Okay, native based API. Okay, so this is the difference between the Windows API and the native based API. So Windows API is only used for a GUI development. It can't able to do much functionality, but native APIs can able to do interact with the kernel. So the kernel is responsible for doing everything like allocating resource and allocating the memory, allocating the space, everything. So you can use either one of the API. Either you can use the Windows API or you can use the native APIs. Okay. So that's the based on you. But for several malware developments and several stuff, we are going for a native APIs, and we are sometime we will be in a Windows API. So that's completely based on this. Okay. So there is a lot of theory behind that. We can skip that now. So let's go with the malware development API. Okay. So few of the API which are used to develop a malware. So if you go to the malapi.io, here you can find a lot of APIs that basically used to develop a malware. Here you can see the enumeration, and you can see the process injection. If you need to inject any process, you can go for, if you inject your code into the remote process, you can go for that. So if you need to bypass antivirus softwares, you can go further. Here you can see some native based APIs are there, NT delay, exception, sleep. So few APIs are there. Spy, if you need to spy the system, you have some APIs. If you need to communicate with the internet, you can have some API URL download to file. So this is used to download some files from the internet. I already said, we discussed in the previous videos, like urlmon.dll, it will be responsible for communicating, downloading stuff from the internet. So here you have. Okay, so these are the APIs which are commonly used for malware development. Okay, so let's hop off. I hope you have a clear understanding about the APIs and mal APIs which will be used. If you need more understanding, you can just refer this website. Yeah. Okay, that's all about the session. We will go for our next video. See you guys. Bye bye.